Hello everyone, it's Crystal Ether here. Today I'll be discussing team compositions in HELIOS Rising Heroes. You've got that shiny new character and you're ready to try him out, only to have no clue who to pair him up with to maximize his potential. Or maybe you're confused that you can't steamroll a boss despite putting together a team of your maxed out units. This mobile game may be on the easier side in the sea of turn-based gachas in the mobile market, but setting up your squads to efficiently defeat your enemies is the key to complete any farming session. As usual, follow along or jump to the video annotation you need. Either way, let's get started! For most players starting out in Helios, their team will comprise of whoever they have on hand. However, those who are in the process of building their roster should aim to create a team with a main DPS, sub-DPS, and 2 support cards. This easy-to-build setup is flexible as you can mix and match heroes from different event sets and rarities with a low bar of entry. There's little to no reliance on limit break levels, and there is less risk of failing the quest attempt as you have a backup DPS to contribute damage if main DPS is knocked out. This team composition is viable for getting through Helios' major content, up to expert difficulty boss battles within a single attempt, and enough to acquire at least 1 copy of event-exclusive rewards with proper pacing. The hero designated as the main DPS gets priority in offense boosting frames, as auto mode will prioritize attacking with this card. I'll elaborate further into the video, but keep this in mind for now. Supports should be given attribute attack up frames and BP gauge up frames if necessary to activate their skills without drifting their cooldowns. Lastly, ensure that at least one of the supporting heroes has a link skill that the DPS units can take advantage of. This setup is also reflected in Helios' earliest card set, Summer South. Both Akira and Oscar are DPS units in the set, so even if one of them is knocked out, the other could continue to contribute a respectable amount of damage. This is an easy setup that was perfect for introducing new players to the game without much difficulty. Unfortunately, the ease of this team setup has some flaws. You will need to rotate out your team members to suit the boss being fought, as weaker card sets make it difficult to carry a single team composition everywhere. Furthermore, the average damage ceiling for this team composition is lower, as buffs affecting the entire team or more than one ally aren't nearly as strong as single target buffs. While there aren't many instances of challenging content that pushes the boundaries of this game's combat mechanics, a player looking to expedite their farming should look towards the following team composition: the Hypercarry team. Building this team requires a main DPS and 3 supports to provide all the buffs needed to supercharge your carry. Using a Hypercarry team enables higher damage ceilings than the previous team, which makes it the go-to composition for survive events. This also results in faster average clear times, making farming more efficient for the player. Lastly, a Hypercarry team can be brought to different content and perform well, even if it's neutral or against a stronger attribute due to power of buffs. The Hypercarry needs to be equipped with frames that boost his attack, critical damage, and critical rate. However, critical rate boosting frames can be omitted if you can set up a team to achieve 100% critical rate with your Hypercarry on turn 1, such as with Delinquent Keith or New Year's 2024 Brad, who come with powerful critical rate up self buffs. Like the previous section, supports are equipped with attribute attack up frames and BP gauge up frames to avoid skill cooldown drift. Having one hero that can provide a damage link skill is preferred if the carry's critical rate can be maxed out via skills. If not, a critical rate link is the next best choice. Lastly, having 2 heroes in a team that can participate in link skills with the carry is preferred to account for attack orb RNG. Achieving a sustainable Hypercarry setup will take time unless you get lucky in the gacha, but the investment is well worth the effort with the rewards you can reap through sheer damage. However, this endgame team composition has other flaws to consider, like limited amounts of defensive support and a reliance on tanking enemy special attacks, multiple limit breaks on your main DPS if they lack a burst skill damage buff, and requires the player to obtain core event-related cards for the carry hero or specific cards with powerful support capabilities. If you plan to lighten the burden on your ruby spending, keep in mind that self-sufficient carry DPS cards are either currently inaccessible in the common gacha pool or limited in number. Luckily, Helios Rising Heroes has manageable power creep as a good number of hero cards introduced within the first year are still used regularly in teams to clear Expert Plus bosses. Even if you're not using meta characters, beating an Expert Plus boss in a single attempt is attainable with the powerful free units given through events. Second Anniversary Heroes are a notable exception to this rule, as they are the most consistent set in the game in terms of average damage with powerful team-wide buffs and offense. While limited, investing into this event set for any sector will take you far in all of the game's currently available content. However, keep in mind that farming union events is best done with the event heroes due to the score and event medal multipliers. Once you get your bearings in Helios, aim for this setup to clear content. With the number of new freebies being given out, reaching this point is easier than you might think. Even if you got the right cards and the right frames, farming manually can be a pain to do over long hours, and yet using auto mode leads to failure or your team dying. What gives? The auto mode in Helios Rising Heroes follows a few simple rules, nor are they stated in the game. However, working within the limitations of auto isn't difficult to do and requires minor adjustments to your team. For attacking purposes, here are the rules that auto mode follows. Attack orbs will be consumed starting from the leftmost hero. Attack orbs will be consumed to activate any link skills that the leftmost hero can use, even if the hero to the direct right of them possesses attack orbs. Attack orbs will be consumed by alternating between two heroes if possible to activate a link skill. Otherwise, auto mode will consume as many attack orbs as possible before moving right to the first hero with attack orbs to complete attack orb consumption for that turn. The player can set burst skills to activate when the hero has obtained at least 100% burst gauge, or when the burst gauge is completely filled at 200%. Furthermore, skill usage in auto mode operates on the following rules. Orange, red, blue, and teal skills will be used as they come off cooldown so long as the hero can meet HP, burst gauge, or attack orb cost if necessary, and will not consider burst skill or regular attack opportunity cost. Single target skills will always target the leftmost hero if possible. Green color skills will be used as soon as someone takes damage, ignoring additional effects such as attack or BP gauge up. Non-green colored skills with healing will not be used right away and follows the second rule. The player can set skills to be used either on the first wave in a quest or the final wave. Note that this does not apply to boss battles. Setting up a comfortable auto mode farming session can be done by following these two guidelines. 1. Put your main DPS in the leftmost slot and put their link skill or supporter to their direct right. And 2. If any skills have a BP gauge cost and can be activated on turn 1, ensure that the hero using the skill is equipped with initial BP gauge frames to activate it. By understanding the rules of auto mode and changing them to your liking, farming in Helios Rising Heroes can be a smooth experience that leaves you free to do other things you need or love. Building a competent team can be challenging for players unused to combat gameplay, especially without understanding how the auto mode system works. While I've only introduced 2 team setups in this guide, that doesn't necessarily mean that defensive support or healing type heroes are obsolete. For many new players, those card archetypes are what will help them achieve that first 3-star clear. It's just that Helios has not introduced any defensive focused game modes up to this point. There are also several cards that haven't been shown that can also provide substantial support, but covering them all in a single video is difficult with the sheer number of cards available in this game. For convenience's sake, I've linked the Japanese wiki in the video description if you'd like to check a card skill kit. That's all for this guide, and if you enjoyed the content, I'd appreciate it if you consider subscribing to the channel. Otherwise, I'll see you all in the next video.